But the next one, Pete, it's going to be the old rivals.
And now you've got something very interesting to say about some positional places for Port Adelaide, namely centre half, forward and centre. And I think you better be sitting down when you listen to these. They are fact.
I know last year when Dwayne Russell came into Channel 7 on one evening, he did want to play centre. He said, I love playing centre. It's where I played in my junior football. Well, he gets a chance this evening, and he's out there and he's going to play in the centre of the ground. And Greg Anderson, who had a bit of a stint at centre half forward last year, they tried him there when they weren't getting much run in the centre half forward area. They put him up there, and I think it's time that Greg really showed that he can play in a key position. He came in as a wingman, didn't he?
I tell you what, an interesting thing about Greg Anderson, we saw him on screen a little while ago. It is now said that he's 6'3", 6'3.5". Like the lad's still growing, I'm told. He's really built up very strongly, and he's now centre half forward. Looking at the Norwood side, there's some not a great deal in terms of new players. David Dickinson's going to start in the centre of the ground. Wayne Tanner's a player that we saw a little bit of last year. And Richard Anderson. What do we know about Richard Anderson?
I know nothing except he comes from up north, Port Augusta, Port Pirie, and I'm looking forward very much to seeing him because the Norwood people have been very impressed with him. They're very fast players, those three boys, Tanner, Dickinson and Anderson, and obviously Norwood are looking for a bit of pace across the centre. Gary McIntosh is not playing tonight. They'll miss his bullocking, but nevertheless, maybe the pace will give them something, and those three lads will be looking to cement a place in the Norwood side.
And one thing Norwood won't miss, of course, is the, Neil Hine and John Hall doing that high work, and the fact that they can run into defence very well. And they've also got Keith Thomas, who's one of the best players in the state, to capitalise. Scanlon's going to be around the ball as well. They've got good players all over the ground, but I've got a feeling that Port Adelaide are going to be I won't use the word berserk, but they'll be all out in the first quarter and a half to make a game of it.
They certainly will. They're looking forward to a big season. They've had a lot of criticism. Things aren't running for them. There's no better time for any club to really show its worth when the chips are down.
The crowd's getting very excited. We're not far off the commencement of this match. Norwood Port, it's a traditional match. The whole of the state of South Australia love the clash between Port and Norwood. Our commentators, David Darcy and Ian Day.
Umpire Darryl Schramm just getting the OK for both captains to start the game. The second game in the Escort Cup 86. Norwood against Port, as Peter said, traditional rivals. Schramm holds the ball aloft. Baker against John Hall, looking slim in 1986. First tap goes away to Thomas, slipped it out but intercepted brilliantly there. Rowan Smith gets it away to Russell. Port Adelaide into attack with a high kick to the half-forward line. Looking forward is Fiarchi, can't quite get there. Rowan Smith in again, quickly now Fiarchi on the left leg. Port into attack up towards the half-forward line, looking for Knight. Coming to meet it is Hines, hooks the ball away, but Barn back in defence for the legs. Gets the ball wide out to Justin Scanlon, half-back line. Gives his teammate the rub. Oh, down goes the Port Adelaide player as the ball is run out of defence. He was flattened. A beautiful hip and shoulder bumper. Shepherd it was as the ball goes to the outer side of the ground where Curtis chases it out of play. David Darcy.
Oh, magnificent hip and shoulder in the opening minutes of this game from Justin Scanlon. Justin Scanlon playing on the ball for Norwood here tonight. 29 for Port Adelaide. David Baker. Forward they come, Norwood. Dickinson it is. Shoots in towards goal. It's going across the face and out of bounds. And there'll be a throw in the left forward pocket. And this game starting in these opening moments at an electrifying pace. And what a magnificent game we saw here in the opening to Escort Cup 85 last year. Let's hope we can have a repeat of that here tonight. Brilliant start. Rowan Smith Anderson in there. Chance for Scanlon. Turns, has a hurried shot in towards goal, but it's going to be a Port Adelaide mark. And it's Stephen Curtis in the last line of defence who takes it.
No doubt about Port Adelaide. They're going to be all out at the beginning of this year to prove that they're back in business. And there's one thing about it, when Port and Norwood play football, the crowd get involved, the umpires get involved, everyone gets involved. Bomber Clifford's under that ball. The big push from behind. We'll see a free kick going out there to Port Adelaide. And that appears to be Rowan Smith. He kicks the ball up to centre half forward. Big John Hall is behind. He pushes the ball away. Fiarchi tries to break through the pack, can't. Dickinson got the very good handball out. Now Scanlon. Norwood race into attack now. The player out there was Richard Anderson, the Port Pirie lad. It's in the forward pocket. Trying to pick it up. Vardaninger can't do it. It comes back now. Port Adelaide are going to clear. Ben Harris. John Harvey. Puts it up to centre wing. Dwayne Russell tried to mark the ball. The umpire has paid a mark. Look, you can be lucky. Big Dwayne Russell puts it up to half forward right. Getting under the ball and taking a fine mark was Winter. It's one thing he can do as mark. He's played in excess of 300 games and he's been a wonderful player. Plenty of opposition out there. It comes over the top. Tanner it was, Wayne Tanner, who ran through centre, but it's come unstuck. Kinnear is the player who recovers. Gee, he looks pretty fit. It'll go over the top of Smith. Bomber Clifford comes in. He has it taken away from him. The player out there was Craig Kelly. The umpire has seen a free kick. It's holding the ball, and it'll go to Port Adelaide.
Rowan Smith to boot the Magpies into attack. Come in centre field. Arlen Kennedy waiting his opportunity. The attacking corner of the square puts it in towards Harvey. Couldn't handle it. Back in defence for the legs. Justin Scanlon. In turn, Tanner. Tanner shoots to the half-forward line looking for David Payne. The fingers got to the ball, couldn't control it, and the ball is out of play at centre wing. Tremendous atmosphere here at Football Park. A good crowd, probably heading towards 15,000 as the ball is thrown in at centre wing. Baker against Hall. Fiarchi in for Port Adelaide, and he can't keep the ball in play. He's going to get a free kick for a push in the back. Fiarchi from the defence side of centre wing. High kick towards the half-forward line. Baker in, takes a good solid mark. He's just the attack side of the centre line at the moment. Shooting for the half-forward line, looking up there for Hines. With him there is Barman Winter. Neither could grab the ball. The players go down in a heap, and the umpire is forced to come in and bounce.
No score. We've had 4 minutes of play in the opening quarter of this match between Norwood and Port Adelaide. Umpires are Schramm and Neville Thorpe. John Hall gets the tap, looks for Michael Taylor. Wayne Marnie, welcome back into Port Adelaide side. Missed most of last year. Taylor's handball. Out come Norwood, the kick from Thomas towards grandstand side centre wing. An awkward bounce out there for David Payne. Port Adelaide the chance to relieve. Using his body well was Arlen Kennedy. Chips in short, goes towards half forward and finds Mark Lawson. Thomas late on the scene. Lawson wanting to get on with the business, and umpire Neville Thorpe right in the right position. Or Baker let loose the centre half forward. He can play on. Gets around one, steadies now, drives in towards the square. It's all Norwood back there, however. And John Hall coming on the scene, doesn't take the mark. A hurry shot from Clifford, and it's gone across the face of goal and out of bounds in that left forward pocket. So we're watching Escort Cup 86 on 7 Sport, coming to you live from Football Park.
No score presently, and we're 5.5 minutes into this first quarter. Warhurst unattended initially, but Anderson came in late. Appeared to be a trip there. The umpire didn't see it that way. He saw it the other way, in fact, holding the ball. Free kick will go to the Norwood defender. Appears to be Craig Kelly. Great crowd here at Football Park for the opening of the 86 season. That's a free kick, that one. He deserved it. Played the ball in front of him, Arlen Kennedy. He goes short. The run comes from Lawson. He's fitter this year. Could this be the first score for the season from Port Adelaide? It is! Great goal to Lawson. Port Adelaide a goal, Norwood yet to score.
Well, it was a fine pass from Arlen Kennedy, but one wondered whether he was doing the right thing because he put it into the pocket. He put Lawson on an awfully acute angle, but watch this attack at the goal. Straight he went, the ball bent back beautifully, no breeze, or maybe there's just a little bit up there, but it bent back inside the post, and the Magpies are away in season 86. They've got a goal, Norwood haven't scored.
Well, we saw in the first game that the scoring was all to the northern end. Norwood going to that end with the aid of a slight breeze in this first quarter, but it's Port Adelaide going the opposite end that have drawn first blood. Keith Thomas looks fit as he always does. Andrew Aish, David Payne out there, runs into trouble. Great tackle from Curtis. Opportunity for Aish again. He's brought to ground. David Payne deep in that pocket, has a flying shot in towards goal. He's offline, but he's going to get it free. Port Adelaide player late on the scene, and David Payne caught the pretty heavy one high after disposal, and he'll take the free kick. In fact, it's not after disposal, it's being paid back where the ball was kicked. So David Payne to get it some 40 metres out from goal, but on a very, very acute angle. Port Adelaide leading 1 goal, Norwood yet to score. 7 minutes gone in the first quarter. The lead from Keith Thomas has been ignored, so David Payne obviously thinks he can make the distance. Chips away, into the square, across the face, through the hands of Baker. John Harvey and their players battling hard, and finally the ball pushed out of play. Neil Baum sending out the orders thick and fast, not happy in these opening minutes, and Port Adelaide leading by 6 points.
Yes, and David Payne not wearing the headgear this year. As Kelly goes over the top, Keith Thomas can't pick the ball up. Fiachi runs it out. Lawson involved as well. Now John Harvey. Port Adelaide running it out well, and Dwayne Russell watches it go over the line. Great deal of interest in some Port Adelaide players. Anderson is much bigger and stronger this year. He's at centre-half forward. Has Wayne Marnie recovered from where he left off a couple of years ago? And also the experiment of Dwayne Russell in the centre of the ground. Will that work? Andrew H. He's had a checkered career with injury too, although perhaps for some period of time he didn't really want to play footy, but apparently he does now. Left half forward flank for Norwood. Port Adelaide 1 goal, Norwood yet to score. Baker is in there. It's hooked back over the top. Fiachi is the man with the ball, and he's out of bounds. See a throw in between centre wing and left half forward flank in the Norwood attacking zone. Plenty of bustling in there. The punch comes up towards the centre of the ground. It's Craig Kelly showing a lot of pace. Oh, the Dwyer handball was superb. Dickinson puts it over the top. Oh, Tanner let it go. Port Adelaide are going to run it away now. Phelps initially, then Smith out wide, not getting under the ball. Winters right with him. Won't give him an inch. Winter taps it out. It's picked up by Russell Boyd. Getting underneath the ball is Rowan Smith.
Rowan Smith back tonight. Port Adelaide into attack again, but this is not a good attack. Warhurst comes to meet the ball. Baum back in support of him. Whips out a long handball. Oh, John Hall dropped it. Port Adelaide in a van again. The handball flips out. Lawson again. Gives it across to Kennedy. Shoots it. Goal! And I think he's got it. Oh, what a brilliant attacking move. Port Adelaide 2 without a miss. Kennedy's first. Norwood yet to open their account in 86.
Of all the cars on Australian roads, only one is big enough to win the coveted Wheels 1985 Car of the Year award. Only one has the power, the performance, the space, the aerodynamics, the refined engineering to earn Car of the Year. Magna, a totally new class of car from Mitsubishi. Car Maker of the Year again.
Port Adelaide 12 points. Norwood yet to open their account. 10 minutes gone in the first quarter. You're watching the Escort Cup 86 on 7 Sport, live from Football Park. Warhurst left it behind. Anderson playing at centre half forward. The handball. Arlen Kennedy it is that swings onto his left foot, puts a high kick back in the direction of Marnie. John Hall from behind. The handball into the open spaces. Here's a chance for Andrew H. Well, not a good kick. Gives Kennedy the opportunity again. Forward go Port Adelaide. They're looking good in the opening minutes here at Football Park as Knight's at the bottom of the pack. Can't get the ball clear. Now he does. Fiachi it is who gets a hurry kick into the pocket, but it's all Norwood back there, and Michael Taylor takes the relieving kick. To the outer side, looking for Thomas. He left it behind. Here's a chance for Port Adelaide. The handball over the top. The long kick in now towards the goal square. Winter's down there with Knight. It bounces awkwardly for Winter, but he's first on the scene and carefully pushes the ball out of bounds. So that attacking move repulsed by Bruce Winter, but Port Adelaide having the better of the play here in the opening minutes of this first quarter. Throw in the right forward pocket. Hine is on the ground. Hall is off. Anderson to contest with him. Hine outreaches him. Scanlon tries to burst his way clear. Chance for Port Adelaide. Marnie on top. On the bottom is the recruit holding the ball, says the umpire. Free kick paid against Richard Anderson. It goes the way of Arlen Kennedy. Back in towards the square. Rowan Smith flies. Can't take it. Again, it's the Norwood defence standing firm. It's Michael Taylor who forces it through for a point. And Port Adelaide now 2-1 with that rush point. Lead Norwood yet to score.
The man that's a legend down at Port Adelaide, Russell Ebert, non-playing coach this year in 1986. No doubt about Port Adelaide, they started this game well, and bear in mind the earlier game, the scoring end was the northern end, and Port Adelaide going to the south presently, so it looked pretty good for them. pretty good for Norwood now too, with Dwyer coming forward, and a great mark up there to Michaelini. He looks to play off to Lachlan, but he was covered. So big Jim Michaelini is playing full forward for the Redlegs this evening. He'll try to bring up first blood for them. No, he's way off line, just got the point. So Norwood now get their first score, a point to Port Adelaide, 2-1.
Brilliant running handball off the half back line, but at the moment Port Adelaide appear to be handling the ball more surely than the legs, and certainly they've got plenty of pace and they're harassing the legs all the way. Coming out of defence, the popular Bomber Clifford. What a character as he drives to Rowan Smith with Kelly on the outer side where the ball goes out of play. 2-1 to a point, almost 14 minutes gone. Michael Aish looking a little sad, naturally not playing. Loves his footy. Dwayne Stewart hooks to the half forward line. The Norwood attack having to stand their ground as Phelps comes over the top. Quickly now, Dickinson a chance now. Puts out the pass towards full forward. That's beautifully done. Michaelini out in front, and he's got his second shot at goal in a minute. Well, certainly this one is a better angle. He's almost head on. His last one he came from a very acute angle. Big Jim had a magnificent season in '85, possibly the best I've seen. He seemed to jab at that one a little bit and has put it offline again for his second and Norwood's second point. Port Adelaide a 2-1.
Yes, a bad miss by Michaelini. That ball was beautifully put by Dickinson. I'm sure the Barn wouldn't be pleased with the kicking action by Michaelini. 2 points in as many minutes to him, and that's Norwood's score. Kick to the outer side. Up one-handed, taking the mark with Smith, has been paid. No, now called to play on. Run down by Scanlon. Gets it to Andrew Aish. Back it goes in the direction of Scanlon, and he puts Payne under plenty of pressure. And umpire Thorpe on the scene has indicated that it's holding the ball and the free kick to go to Stephen Curtis. Recruited to Port Adelaide from Western Australia some 4 or 5 years ago, has been a stalwart for the Port Adelaide Football Club. A great player, Stephen Curtis. 15 minutes gone in this first quarter. 21 minutes of play only. Payne has caught again and again gone for holding the ball, and this time the free kick will go the way of Kim Kinnear. The handball in the direction of Phelps. Dropped what he should have took. Now it's back to Smith. Smith's hurried kicking towards the centre of the ground. Oh, Dickinson met strongly by Rowan Smith. Scanlon in trouble. Clifford. Marnie. Port Adelaide the chance to go forward. The little rover puts it out the front, and there's a good mark taken by David Hines. Quickly plays on in towards the pocket, flying high, almost taken by Harvey. Not paid, however. Greg Anderson it was that came out with the ball, but before that, umpire Thorpe had whistled up play. It's umpire Schramm, in fact, and there'll be a bounce just 20 metres out from the Port Adelaide goal.
Great deal of excitement in the way the Magpies have opened up. They've got a lot of zip out there. They're pretty keen. As well they might be. Barm it is, who hugs the boundary line to Scanlon. Scanlon, or is that Craig Kelly? It may be Craig Kelly, in fact. Yes, it is. Up towards centre wing, the big punch from over the top from Jeff Phelps. Comes on hands. Bomber Clifford. Rowan Smith is the man behind. Oh, he's got it. The umpire wouldn't pay it. Play on's the call. The handball came out. Running into an open goal is David Hines. Port Adelaide are right on target. They're 3-1 to Norwood, 2 points.
Port Adelaide's tackling has been swift and sure. I think Smith probably got a touch of the ball in the mark as well, but I would think that the Norwood defence also got through. Kelly got a hand on it. The umpire didn't pay it, but quickly Rowan Smith got the handball out to David Hines into the open goal, and the West Coast boy kicked his first and the Magpies third. 3-1 to 2 points.
Brilliant opening by Port Adelaide. 17 minutes gone, and they're 3-1 to 2 points. Into attack they go again. The Woods half forward. Chance for Craig Kelly. Pushes it out wide. Port Adelaide in attack again, however. Arlen Kennedy playing a blinder in this first quarter. He's going to be run down on this occasion. And umpire Thorpe pings him for holding the ball. And the free kick will go the way of the Norwood recruit in Richard Anderson. Number 12 for Norwood. Recruited to them from Port Perry. And I believe and understand a very fine player. Anderson's kick towards the centre of the ground. Missed by Harris. On the ground it's Payne. Wants support. Has it from Dwayne Stewart. Now it's Lachlan over the top to Dickinson, the man loose out there as Lachlan butters up again. Forward he comes. Here's a pass looking for Michael Lenny. Tried to half volley it and couldn't, and now the opportunity for Port Adelaide to relieve. The kick on the outer side looks for John Harvey. Very close to the line. In fact, the boundary umpire indicates that the ball was out of play as Harvey took it. 17 minutes and 30 seconds gone in this first quarter, and it's all Port Adelaide. They're 3-1, leading Norwood at 2 points. Peter Marker.
Yes, you're watching Escort Cup 86 live on 7 Sport. It's a great game of football. You can feel it here. The atmosphere is just very, very tense. You could cut it with a knife. It always is in Port Norwood encounters, and this one is no different. Dwayne Russell out there. I wouldn't say that experiment has succeeded at this point. He's doing some bullocking work in there in the centre, but hasn't really got loose. Smith misses that one. It comes through to Phelps, it is. He got the underground handball out. Oh, great tackle there, and the umpire has indicated holding the ball. May have called that the perfect tackle. Scanlon it is. Kicks it up forward, getting under the ball. Michael Annie over the top. Ball running through is Curtis. The Norwood forward players didn't read that quite as well. And I wouldn't think Neil Baum would be too delighted about the start, but there is still a long way to go in this game. We're 19 minutes, in fact, into the first quarter.
Yes, it's a 21-minute quarter. No time on as Harvey kicks in, finds Smith. In turn, Arlen Kennedy. Port Adelaide running out of defence. Good constructive handball. That's his 8th kick as he goes towards the half-forward line. Murdoch got it the wrong way. Bomber Clifford under pressure. He's centre half-forward. Players start to bundle the ball up, and the umpire will come in and bounce it. Hello! A little bit of frustration coming into the game. Players starting to get a little excited. 16 is Fiarchi, and the umpires said play on. Dickinson. Norwood a chance to run the ball now. Through centre wing. Anderson with a chance to pick it up. Oh, he bumbled the ball. Norwood have done a bit of that tonight. Anderson off the left leg. Passes out towards the half-forward line. Payne in front. And he takes the mark about 25 metres out right in front. David Payne has Norwood's first real opportunity to kick a goal, although I suppose Michael Annie from 10 metres further out should have bottled one earlier. But this time he's only 25 metres. Shoots it away. Goal. Norwood got one on the board. It's taken them 20 minutes, and they trail Port Adelaide 1-3 to 3-1.
Well, it certainly has been all Port Adelaide, and this has taken, as Ian told you, 20 minutes for Norwood to get their first goal. Payne slipped into the open spot. Anderson it was that lifted the eyes and saw him, and he's bobbled his first and Norwood's first. So after 20 minutes, Norwood 1-3, trail Port Adelaide 3-1.
Just a few seconds to go in this first quarter. Can either side get another score? If not, Port Adelaide will certainly go in at quarter time. Pretty well pleased with that effort. It's good to see David Payne back there with a vengeance for Norwood. The headgear's off. He was concussed pretty often last year, more often than he'd like to remember, that's for sure. The siren has gone to end the first quarter here at Football Park, and what a great quarter of football it's been. Port Adelaide at this point 3-1 to Norwood 1-3. The score is Port Adelaide 3-1, Norwood 1-3, and what a great opening it was. It was a typical Port Adelaide Norwood opening, a fantastic opening, a big crowd in, probably in excess of 15,000. Conditions superb, ground conditions superb. Weather temperature around about 21 degrees Celsius. You couldn't ask for better. This is the place to be if you're interested in football. And Ian, to you first, the thing that interested me most about the first quarter was Port Adelaide's team placings. Anderson at centre half forward. He started off at centre. And Dwayne Russell centre. Yeah. How did they work?
Most unusual. I agree with you, Peter. Neither of them took a great part in that first quarter, but the overall team play of Port Adelaide was superb. Their ability to get to the ball first, and also their ability to tackle Norwood swiftly and force them into handballing errors was most notable, and I think that was Port Adelaide's quarter. And if they play like that for the rest of the game, they'll win well.
David, that's the sort of thing we expect from Port Adelaide. That is, they always start like this, particularly early in the season.
Yes, they do. I'm just remembering back to last year, and
Peter, rather in the Escort Cup, and the performance by both Norwood and Port in that first game was very similar to what we've seen in the first quarter here tonight, and I think it's just going to be a fantastic game of football.
Well, the second quarter underway. You'll call it Ian Day.
Port Adelaide 3-1 lead Norwood 1-3 as we pick up the second quarter here in the second game of the Escort Cup 86. A free kick goes to Norwood at the centre bounce. It goes to Dwayne Stewart, who drives towards the half-forward line. Coming to meet it is Scanlon. With him there is Smith. Quickly now, Arlen Kennedy in or out he goes again. Or is that Russell Boyd? Russell Boyd, it was. He gets pink for holding the ball. As soon as he grabbed it, he dropped it. And the free kick goes to Tanner. Tanner puts it up in the air, looking for Michael Annie. It's 2-on-1 back there. Baker back for Port Adelaide in defence, but the ball is hurried out by Curtis. Back towards centre field, and there big John Hall takes a strong mark. He's possibly been paid the free kick, but whatever it is, he's got the ball. John Hall looking extremely fit and in for a big season for Norwood. The giant wobbles one to the half-forward line. It wasn't a good kick, but fortunately had found Andrew Aish at centre half forward. He might be just beyond his kicking distance. Gee, it's a pretty cluttered forward line at the moment there for the legs. Big Michael Annie thinks about leading. Dummies, twists, goes back in the square. O'Dwyer there as well. Up go the defence to thump the ball away. First there will be Smith. He can't get the ball clear. And finally it's footed away by Harvey, but off his boot. It's smothered and it goes out of play in the right forward pocket for the legs.
No addition to the score in the second quarter. Baker and Michael Annie lock arms. Chance now as Andrew Aish puts it in towards the square, but there's the elusive Bomber Clifford. Clifford rather. He clears to the outer side. Race for the ball. Anderson and Arlen Kennedy holding the ball or holding the man, and it's gone in the way of Port Adelaide, and it's Arlen Kennedy who had a very good first quarter. This will be his 9th kick towards centre half forward. Plenty of body work, in fact too much, says the umpire, and the free kick will go Greg Anderson's way. Playing at centre half forward tonight, unaccustomed position to him, although tried there on a couple of occasions last year without any great success. Oh, that's a thumping kick from Anderson into the square. The ball sets up. Taylor tries to give it over the top. Winder comes away with it, only as far as Rowan Smith. Sticks out a hand, and finally the ball is taken over the line, and there'll be a throw in just 40 metres around from the Port Adelaide goal. And Port Adelaide doing it well in this opening game of the Escort Cup. And here's Football Park, and what a magnificent sight from the air it is. What a magnificent stadium, and what a great game of football we're witnessing here at Football Park. The clearing kick. Thomas appealing for the free kick, but it's going the other way. It's going to Stephen Curtis. Tit for tat, but the umpire saw it in favour of Port Adelaide.
Port Adelaide into attack again, going to the northern end, the lake end here at Football Park. The punch away comes. Rowan Smith is caught with the ball. They all want holding the ball. That is the Norwood players. Now Craig Baum. He clears. Baker under the ball for the Magpies. No mark. Peter Lachlan for Norwood. Keith Thomas, who hasn't really been in the game. That player has. Dickinson. He'll get a free kick, and he deserves it. The Baker tackle was most untidy. It certainly could have done a lot of damage. Dickinson's had far the better of that centre duel. He's far more mobile than Dwayne Russell. He's covering a lot of ground. Under the ball out there is Smith for Port Adelaide. He punches it away from Scanlon. Again, good to see Justin Scanlon back playing after a very disappointing year last year with some serious injuries. O'Dwyer over the top. Wayne Tanner took plenty of time, but he got into the open space. Arlen Kennedy under the ball. Can't mark it. Beautifully taken off hands, David Harvey. There he is, the link man himself, Bomber Clifford. Puts it out wide. Running for it is Hines. Baum with him. Baum with the ball now. Oh, fleeted foot. Delightful little twist there, Craig Baum. Puts it back to Richard Anderson.
Finds him at centre wing on the outer side. In fact, he's the defence side of centre wing, as Anderson gets his 4th kick to the half-forward line. Big leap there by Port Adelaide, not successful. Kim Kinnear back in the action. The handball goes out, not a good one. Through the half-forward line, Andrew Aish couldn't. Payne looks for the shepherd to help Thomas through. Payne's got to go in hard now. With him was Arlen Kennedy. Smith back for Port Adelaide. Arlen Kennedy again. Players fumbling the ball towards the line, and it goes out on the half-forward left flank with Norwood in attack. Russell Eben would love to be playing, but gee, his side's doing him proud at the moment. 3-1 to 1-3. Michael Annie and David Baker. The legs against the Magpies. Up over the top came the big fellow in Phelps. Payne at the bottom of the pack. Picked up quickly now by Norwood as they go into attack through Tanner up towards the forward line it goes, but finally it's Clifford who gets the ball back, kicks back towards centre field. Beautifully done, Dwayne Russell. The ball puts his head down, barges his way through, drives in long up towards Hines at full forward. Loose ball, Winner under pressure. Beautifully done to Warhurst, and the legs are clear.
Out of trouble, the kick from Warhurst in the direction of Anderson. Here's a chance for Rowan Smith. He's clear in that right forward pocket. Bangs it in towards goal. That's a great shot. Oh, what a goal!
Amazing football, Port Adelaide. Rowan Smith. We picked him last year as a player with a great future, and this is evidence of it. What a superb running goal. You can't see better than that. Craig Baum couldn't get to it, and Port Adelaide playing superb footy. There's his brother, Neil Baum. He's shaking his head. Russell's pretty wrapped about the whole scene, and meanwhile, Port Adelaide going on their merry way, 4-1 to Norwood, 1-3.
6 minutes gone, second quarter, another 21-minute quarter. Both the second half quarters will be 21 plus time on. David Baker against John Hall at the centre bounce. What a night of football. Hall towards centre wing. Dickinson got the kick away, wasn't all that effective. The bounce beat Phelps. A chance for the legs to go into attack now up towards the full forward area. Smith back in defence. Almost taken off him. The bottom of the pack there for Port Adelaide is Harvey, and the umpire will come in about 20 metres out. 4-1 to 1-3. A bounce almost in the right forward pocket. Norwood desperately needing a goal to keep in this game. Baker gets a backhand knock towards Kinnear, and he can't keep it in play. A throw in now about 35 metres around from the behind post.
Tremendous atmosphere here at Football Park. Michael Annie. Chance now for Lachlan. O'Dwyer, run down by Russell, great tackle. Marnie went in strongly and Port Adelaide are clear. John Harvey, now Anderson for Norwood. It's Dickens, no, it was Anderson in fact. Rowan Smith in there for Port Adelaide. Finally it's Anderson that gets clear, showing plenty of fortitude. Scanlon ran into trouble. Andrew Ace, Lawson threads his way clear and kicks Port Adelaide out of trouble. Or Norwood bounce there. Finally it's kicked forward. Marnie fearlessly. Also Dwayne Stewart pushes it out in front of him. Goes again, a good smother. Tight, strong football at the moment as players throw themselves in recklessly, and finally it's umpire Schramm on the scene to bounce, and that a very strenuous passage of play, Peter.
Definitely, David, and Port Adelaide's attack on the ball is certainly worrying the Norwood players. They've got a few youngsters out there in Tanner, Dickinson, Anderson's another one from Port Pirie, and Port Adelaide's certainly unsettling them. Away goes Lawson. We mentioned before he's a bit fitter this year. He had an interrupted season last year. Knight ran past that ball, but he tackled well and he got the free kick for holding the ball. Against Winter, or the handball back to Knight, didn't quite make it. A mistake from Arlen Kennedy, and there will be a bounce down. 8.5 minutes into this second quarter. The master himself, flanked by Davey Boyd, who won a Magarey medal back in 1956. Dickinson there, he's got possession now. No, it's not Dickinson. Appears to be young Anderson. He may get a free kick the way the umpire's pointing. No, it goes the other way. Holding the ball, David Baker shapes up to pass off, but shows a bit of pace, although Anderson runs him down. Curtis for Port Adelaide has got possession now. A slick handball out, Marnie. He looks a bit zippier this year. Rowan Smith's in the middle of the pack, but it's initially Craig Kelly. There's no mark there. The umpire's found the high tackle across the shoulder of Michael Taylor, and it's his free kick. He's going to play it on. Norwood have got loose players everywhere, and one of them is Keith Thomas. A real touch player, Keith Thomas. Scanlon, Dickinson. Norwood trying to run it out, but the tackling's hard and it's fierce. Now Dwayne Stewart.
At centre wing when he gets the ball, there's a yike on behind play. Gee, in they go. One of the umpires, or neither of the umpires have seen it. There's 20 players involved in a melee behind play. Now umpire Thorpe goes back quickly. Murdoch gets the ball across to Payne. Norwood playing on when there's a real Donnybrook behind play. In they go. I reckon there's got to be 20 players. In the meantime, as Tanner's got the ball. Gee, do you think that ever warmed the night up in a hurry as Tanner shoots for goal and has bottled it? Well, while the fight was on, Norwood went on unconcernedly and booted their second goal, 2-3 to 4-1.
Boy, oh boy, the action's certainly livening up on 7 Sport here at Football Park. A real Donnybrook, but it was Tanner that had the last word when he booted the goal. Norwood second there, 2-3, trailing Port Adelaide 4-1. Fine diving mark by Stephen Knight. Port Adelaide go forward. The kick from Phelps towards centre half forward. Oh, Anderson got a push in the back and still was good enough to take the mark at the second attempt. Interchange being made. Harris is on as Anderson thumps it in towards the pocket. Barn getting back there. Was it Michael Taylor? Michael Taylor, in fact. And he takes the mark. Player coming off for Port Adelaide being carried off, and that's bad news. Dwayne Russell is in trouble, and he suffered bad injuries last year, and it's a shame in this first match of the Escort Cup to see him coming off the field being carried off by 2 trainers. Back with the action. Port Adelaide deep into attack, over the top. The mark almost taken by Fiacci, and there's Dwayne Russell leaving the game, leaving the arena for the moment, being taken off by 2 trainers. That point takes Port Adelaide to 4-2, Norwood 2-3.
John Hall appears to be injured, and when one considers what he went through last year, yeah, you can see he's got a gash in the head behind the hairline there, so that'd sting a bit. Anderson, good mark. And this is a man that's grown inches. He's put on body weight and muscle.
I wouldn't be surprised if he kicks this, Peter.
He can certainly boot a ball a long way in. He, as you would say, he could kick-start a jumbo jet with ease. The beanpole himself couldn't mark that ball. Big Neil Hine. It's gone off hands through for a point. Port Adelaide presently 4-3. Norwood 2-3, so the difference is 12 points in this second quarter. You're watching Escort Cup 1986 live on 7 Sport.
Fast and furious, Lawson. Anderson gets round on the left leg, hooks in towards goal. It's going to be home. Oh, came back with a boot. Looked to be missing the right goal post. Came back brilliantly in time. First goal, Anderson. Port Adelaide kick away again. 5-3, the legs 2-3.
Richly talented Greg Anderson, dangerous on that left foot, although running into the pocket on the wrong side, was able to screw the ball back, and you can see it just gliding back through the big sticks, and that's Port Adelaide's 5th goal. They really have started in great form here in this first and second quarters, and they lead now by 3 straight goals.
Hines has gone to centre half forward. Greg Anderson's in the centre of the ground now. Dwayne Russell having come off. Norwood with the run of it. Or there could have been a free kick there to Marnie, not seen. Murdoch goes down as well, and there'll be a bounce between centre and centre half forward in Port Adelaide's attacking zone. Oh, that was a bit of an exhibition boxing match there a little while ago. They had a good time there in the centre.
Didn't know which sport to watch there for a while, Peter.
I was watching the fight, Ian, I must say, but pretty good, that stuff. You always get a fight between Norwood and Port. The master himself, Jack Oatey, the coach's coach. Up goes Hine. Big punch there from Ben Harris, who's now in ruck. Norwood clear. Under the ball out there is Payne. Oh, the handball missed. Out of trouble again through Phelps. Here's a go, Port Adelaide. Up into the pocket. Gee, David Baker showing plenty of pace. Runs it into the pocket, but we'll see it thrown in Port Adelaide's left forward pocket.
Peter, they're sitting on David Payne. He's made several ball handling errors when Port Adelaide have tackled him very swiftly and very fiercely.
Yes, you're dead right, Ian. He's a danger man. He kicks goals. Stephen Knight has an airy. Comes out towards Rowan Smith, but it's going to run out of bounds yet again.
Almost kicked out on the full there by Rowan Smith. Neil Baum has problems at the moment. A throw in left forward pocket. His team down by 18 points. The bodies go in back towards Knight. Can't pick it up. Players start to bottle it up, and the umpire will come in and bounce. 32 is Knight, 28 is Kelly for the legs, and a bounce down about 30 metres out in front of goal. Umpire Thorpe puts it down. Baker gets the tap away. Well taken, Scanlon. Off the half-back line goes Tanner. Not a good kick. Almost taken there by Harris. Lachlan. Nowhere to go. Good handball to Warhurst. High kick to the half-forward line. Payne having to work hard for this one. In comes Smith, but the umpire has seen infringement, and it's going to Payne. Payne has Tanner wide. That's the way the ball will go, 2-on-1, and he just about gets to the ball close to the line. He can't keep it in play, and the throw-in will take place on the legs, half-forward right flank.
5-3, Port Adelaide leading Norwood 2-3. 16 minutes gone in the second quarter. Quarter of just 21 minutes duration, no time on in the first and second quarters. Time on will be added in the third and fourth. So 3 goals in the lead by Port Adelaide. They booted 3-1 in the first quarter to Norwood's 1-3 and have added 2-1 so far in this term. Scanlon from behind, Lachlan. Now Anderson moved to the centre with the loss of Russell. Darren Smith comes clear with the ball. Warhurst and Hines. Craig Barn. Oh, straight at Clifford. And he didn't shirk the issue one bit, but he grabbed him just a little bit too high. And do you agree with that, Ian?
Top football. Neither shirked it. Good, tough football.
So Barn takes the free kick. That's his 6th kick towards centre wing. Darren Smith now on his left foot. Hooks it back. Knight making the lead. Takes the mark. Now he's looking further afield. Marnie gives him a lead. He heads that direction, but it's too long for him. But not for Michael Taylor. And Michael Taylor chips in between 2 Port Adelaide players and takes a safe mark.
5th kick to Michael Taylor. He goes wide, looking for Dwayne Stewart. But beats him out of bounds. Yes, that last incident between Barm and Clifford, that would have been an opportunity for Clifford to apply the perfect tackle. And, of course, if that's applied, according to the umpire's discretion, it's a free kick. But I don't know that the Bombers perfected the perfect tackle yet. He's probably working on it.
If you saw a man mountain coming down like that, Peter, I think I'd forget about the perfect tackle too.
I'd dig a hole very quickly. We're centre wing. Port Adelaide leading by 18 points. Pushed down towards Marnie. He's surrounded by red leg players. Gee, the tackling's fierce out there. Now Anderson. What a kick. He took one pace with that, and he's beat it at 60 metres. A backhander by Barn. Warhurst had front spot taken off him on that occasion by Harrison. He ran it out of bounds, and we'll see a throw-in left forward pocket for Port Adelaide. 18 minutes into this second quarter. A top game of football. Neil Hine, superb balance and coordination and pace as he ran away from the back line. Murdoch now. Deso Dwyer trying to get to it. Half volleyed it, then pushed it back into trouble. Bomber Clifford in the centre of the ground. That's where to get kicks. Warhurst over the top. A bad bounce for the Port Adelaide attacking players. Tanner was grabbed. He didn't have it. And it's Wayne Tanner's free kick.
From the back pocket. Tanner has Dwayne Stewart clear for a while, but gee, he's going to be swallowed by Anderson now. Big leap Anderson. Can't keep the ball in play, or can he? With him is Andrew Aish, but the umpire adjudicates in favour of a throw-in. Half forward left flank, the Magpies in attack and leading by 18 points. A really tough game of football. Andrew Aish, Murdoch smothered off the back there of Anderson, and the ball tapped out of play. 21-minute quarters, as David said, in the first half, and both teams are allowed to use 4 interchange players. Harris in opposition to Hine. Hine made front spot. Clifford got it to Smith around the corner. Tanner back in defence, picking up a few kicks, but he runs the ball out of play, and a throw in the left full forward pocket. Once again, the Magpies in attack.
Low scoring game, indicative of the pressure being applied by both sides. 8 scoring shots to 5, and Port Adelaide lead by 18 points. Knight it was that took it out of the air. A hurry kick into the forward pocket. It's been touched by Barm, or is it out on the full? Goal umpire signalling out on the full, and it's Craig Barm who'll bring the ball back into play. Phil Harrison stands the mark. Barm goes up the middle of the ground looking for Dickinson. Clifford flew with him. Warhurst in front. Now Anderson. Great balance. Over the top. Here's a chance for Port Adelaide. Fiacci has it in the left forward pocket. Screws in towards goal. Got by Murdoch. Should have been taken. Chance for Barm. Barm needs support now. Finally pushes it off the ground and goes for the safety of the line. 1 point, a rush point to Port Adelaide there. 5-4, Norwood 2-3. Great game.
Great game indeed, and Port Adelaide certainly more vigorous. They've taken it up to and past Norwood. which certainly belies the respective positions that the sides finished last year. Anderson couldn't take the mark. The handball comes out. Payne is caught. Oh, great tackling, Port Adelaide. Tackled initially by Kinnear and then by Ben Harris. Kim Kinnear will take the kick. We're 20 minutes into this second quarter. Oh, the kick's astray. Through it goes. Craig Kelly got around his player and then dropped one into the centre of the ground. Phil Harrison, no, Kinnear couldn't mark the ball. Stewart, Keith Thomas, Andrew H. Oh, they're fiddling around Norwood. They're not decisive. Port Adelaide is. Des O'Dwyer, and that's it. The siren goes to herald the end of this second quarter, and what a great game of football it's been. Port Adelaide 5-4 to Norwood 2-3, and Ian, are you in any way surprised at the way Port Adelaide have taken it up to and in fact past Norwood so far?
Well, quite frankly, at this state of the season, yes, Peter, I am. You know, they've come out of the blocks in a flash. I reckon, you know, early season they look extremely fit. And this is a Port Adelaide side of old. They're tackling fiercely. They won't let Norwood, or can't let Norwood, just can't get clear. And I think they're looking pretty good at this stage. What do you think, David?
Yes, their tackling has been absolutely fierce, Ian, and indicative of that, just 5 scoring shots to Norwood. And Port Adelaide really have kept the pressure right on Norwood. The top performance by them in the first half, Peter.
Yes, certainly, David. And you're watching Escort Cup 1986 live on 7 Sport. More in a moment. Half time here at Football Park in the main game, Port Adelaide against Norwood, and Port Adelaide have jumped right out of the blocks, leading 5-4 to Norwood 2-3. A great start by Port Adelaide in the earlier game. A fantastic match, in fact, for a first-up performance. South Adelaide against West Adelaide. South won the game 18-3 to 10-14, and joining me in the half-time break is a man that Jack Oatey used to refer to as the captain's captain, or in fact the greatest captain of them all. I'm referring to Bob Sherman. You probably haven't heard that, have you?
No, I haven't actually.
He does, in fact. And Bob, you're the assistant coach now down at South Adelaide.
Yes, I'm Peter.
Yeah, which is great news. It's brilliant to have you back in football, and
quite happy to be back involved again after some time.
Especially after the first game.
Yeah, it was a good win.
Apart from the win, what were the other positive things that came out of it for you?
Well, the fact of being able to play, or have the opportunity to play youngsters such as Simmons and or Simpson and Simons, and they acquitted themselves very well. Young Austin didn't have a lot of time on the ground as a ruckman, but he got a feel of the game. An opportunity for Barrett to play a little bit of football coming from Glenelg, and McCormick having his first run with South Adelaide, which was very pleasing to be able for them to perform. And I thought their game became better as the game went on.
You tried a few things. Darren Cutler at half-back is something that was unexpected.
Well, we tried to balance the side, and Michael Bennett was going to play, and he had to withdraw. Sneezer was going to play, he withdrew. So we just tried to balance the players and put them in positions that we thought that they could succeed in, and they did fairly well. And as I said, I thought they improved as the game went on.
Brockhurst worked hard for you up forward.
I think he's going to be a very fine player for South Adelaide.
The forward area, though, is a worry for you, isn't it? Because you've got Darren Harris in Melbourne, so you forget him. Rick Davies, I guess you'd have to say, is
certainly a little bit of a worry, and especially with a breeze like there was this evening when we played Glenn Hewitt at full forward, and Glenn's up against Shaw, who got 6'5", 6'6", and with the ball coming a little bit long, which it's going to happen on a night like tonight with that breeze, you're going to be in trouble without the height across the full forward line. But I thought the other players gathered around well, and I thought Glenn himself was responsible for 4 or 5 goals. But apart from a couple that he kicked himself.
It'd be nice for a couple of big, strong 6'4" guys to walk into your club, though, wouldn't it?
It'd be very handy.
It'd be nice if they walked into any club, mind you.
And can play.
Yeah.
Well, Davies has to come back in the full forward line, which will give it the strength and be able to be more competitive in the air in that department, because we didn't have, apart from Glenn Hewitt, I guess, who was just over 6 feet, we didn't have a 6-footer on the full forward line. And young Simons, I thought, did well. He read it very well. He grabbed a couple of strong grabs, and he did very well for a young player in his first game.
Bob, it's tremendous to have you back in the game, and it's a great start for you in season 86. Let's hope you have more of that sort of performance on the field. At the moment, you're watching the Escort Cup 1986 live on 7 Sport. More in a moment. Football Park, and just recapping the situation in the earlier game. South Adelaide 18-3 defeated West Adelaide 10-14. That may have been a surprise result for many people, but Bob Shearman, who's just left the commentary position, it wasn't a surprise for him. He was delighted about it. And in the present game, Port Adelaide have jumped right out of the blocks, as I mentioned, 5-4, leading Norwood 2-3, and there's no doubt at all that Norwood are upset by Port Adelaide's tactics. The Port tactics are fair. What they're doing is they're going in hard, fast, they're tackling, and they're just putting Norwood off balance. Don't forget the coverage of tomorrow's golf. The tradition continues with the Masters from Huntingdale. The golf is really at a fantastic stage. At the halfway mark, you'll see it tomorrow on 7 and also Sunday on 7. Sunday on 7 as well, you will see World of Sport, which will run from 9 till 12. The standard times for World of Sport on Sunday. Plenty of action there as well. We've got the NFL Gridiron the plays of the year. There's some great action there. Motor racing, the Masters golf highlights, some tremendous action there as well. Racetrack at 9:30. Always some great stuff there, and the yachting continues from Fremantle. Right now, end day.
Thank you, Peter. Yes, goal kickers to half-time. In fact, there's not a player on the ground who's kicked more than one. For Port Adelaide, we have Smith, Hines, Kennedy, Lawson and Anderson, and for Norwood, Payne and Tanner. Robert, are you surprised at the ferociousness of the attack of Port Adelaide?
Well, I think both sides are into it pretty quickly, and I think the important thing about this early season business is that everybody's so enthusiastic to get into the game, and whilst there may be a few ball handling errors, they certainly are looking for it. It's been a long time away from it. They've been training hard to get into this stage, and they're going. And perhaps it points a little bit too to the length of seasons. Like halfway through the season, these lads will be nowhere near as enthusiastic as they are at the moment. They have injuries, and you know what it's like.
Robert, are you indicating then that we should cut back our season? Is that what you're alluding to? Do you think we played too long?
Well, financial aspects, of course, would limit that as far as the league and the clubs are concerned. But nevertheless, as far as the playing side of it's concerned, a shorter season, there's no doubt about it in my opinion.
From a playing point of view, what is the ideal situation?
I think 2 rounds is absolutely plenty.
Yeah. Well, see, the negatives, Robert, if you recall last year, pre-season in the Escort Cup, West Adelaide was superbly fit, and then at the beginning of the season, they'd almost run their race, and they didn't win many games until towards the end. Now, we see Port Adelaide tonight, and they look extremely fit and fast.
Yeah, they ought to, and Norwood are playing a pretty fast centre line too. That lad Wayne Tanner, and the other lad Anderson on the other wing are very quick. In fact, Anderson's pretty impressive. His first game, a couple of his left foot kicks on his wrong leg were very, very good. His right foot off 2 steps at one stage. He kicked a couple of 60-metre kicks, just took a couple of steps in balance. He looks a pretty impressive young player, and David Dickinson with a bit of pace in the centre, so Port are doing well.
You're watching the Escort Cup 86 live on 7. We'll be back in just a moment.
The football park, that's a shot of the moon, by the way, just if you're a little bit confused about that. It's half-time here, and Port Adelaide are 5-4, Norwood are 2-3. It's a fantastic game of football. Escort Cup has been great over the years, Ian, and as part of the Escort Cup, of course, we go into the country, and in the true tradition, you're going up to Bordertown on the Glenelg bus.
Yes, Peter, I'm going down with Harry Kernahan and Graham Corns and the boys, and I want to know when I'm going to be presented with my water bag.
Well, that's
the water bag trip. Yeah. But no, I'm looking forward to going down to Bordertown. They're very keen footballers down there in the Tatiara, and I think it's going to be a big... I know there's a lot of barbecues. I've been asked about a half a dozen already. I just hope I can see the game.
I'm sure, knowing you, you'll go to all of them. You'll enter all of them, and you'll drink it all.
You're not wrong.
Magnificent game of football, though. Glenelg and North, the 2 grand finalists from the 2 grand finalists from last year.
Yeah.
Magnificent.
I think that what a lot of people are wondering about Glenelg is how they're going to recover from the loss of Kernahan and McGuinness. I guess we might see a bit of a lead on Sunday.
Well, with Hodgman coming back to replace McGuinness, and of course the introduction or the recruitment of Max Cruz, but how could you ever replace a Stephen Kernahan? It's simply not on. But, you know, having a look at that base side, it looks pretty settled and pretty strong.
Yes, but what about the North Adelaide side? Because, in fact, they've only lost 1 player, Brenton Phillips. North Adelaide is hungry. They lost the grand final in '85. They're hungry for a win. They're hungry for a good season, David.
Yes, North Adelaide have got that ingredient, Peter, that I think wins premierships. They've got now an average game of something over 100, and that's very important to a club. North Adelaide have stuck with Michael Noonan through thick and thin. He's in his 6th year now as coach, and I think North Adelaide will be very, very strong contenders this year. In fact, I would go so far as to say that they would be almost certainties to play in the grand final again. Well, that's a big statement.
Gee, how's that?
Well, I'm prone to those.
Hey, isn't it great to have someone who's prepared to put their foot in their mouth?
Yeah, right, so early in the season. Well, of course, I'll be talking to both Graham Corns and Mike Noonan after the game down there at Bordertown. And I think, Peter, you're heading a show at 5:30 on Sunday night that's going to bring a report of that game.
5:30 till 6, Rick Keegan and Graham Campbell and myself, yes, we'll be covering that. And also tomorrow night, 7:30 till 10:30, live on 7 Sport. We've got the other two games, Sturt Woodville, Centrals and Torrens.
The thing that I will ask both the coaches, and I'm interested to know, just how much importance do they place on these games pre-season? Now, all right, Glenelg North are the two grand finalists from last year. Now, have they come out fit and rearing to go and both going to win tooth and nail? I don't know. What would their attitude be?
In times of troubled times, football clubs financially need the money, Ian, and I'm sure that each of the 10 sides would dearly love the 35,000 that hangs on the top of this Escort Cup, and I'm sure they'll be giving it their 100%, 110% in fact.
Yes, you're dead right. You're dead right, David. And we're just about to start the third quarter now. Scores Port 5-4, Norwood 2-3. Your caller is Ian Day.
The start of the third quarter here in the second cup in Escort 86 match. And it's umpire, I think, if they turn the lights off, I think it's umpire Schramm about to get the ball down for the start of the second half. Remember, 21-minute quarters plus time on. Port Adelaide a brilliant first half, lead by 19 points in a low-scoring game. 5-4 to 2-3. Quickly, Baker gets the tap away. Port Adelaide into attack through Clifford, half-forward line. The kick is a wobbly one, but it finds Marnie. Marnie about 40 metres out. Lex to play on, gives a chance now.
After order for them, I'm sure Russell Ebert would have really revved them up at half-time. Their performance in the first half was great, but now with that goal, they've kicked 4 clear. They're doing it well. Their forward work is good. And there's a great shot of Football Park, and this Football Park at the moment is alive with Port Adelaide supporters.
Certainly is, and it's alive with Port Adelaide players too. And the great thing about it is that they've got a lot of young players out there. They've got Phelps, they've got Hines, Anderson, Marnie. They're all over the field. There's youth out there for Port Adelaide, and that's great to see. There's another one of them. Phelps is the man. Breaks away onto that left boot, puts it out beautifully to Rowan Smith. Another one of the youngsters. Couldn't mark the ball. It comes back to David Payne. Dwayne Stewart running. Also Lachlan. Lachlan will get around Harvey. Puts the ball in long. Michael Annie comes in late. It went through Vardaniga. David Harvey gets there first. Jumps on top of the ball. John Harvey's in there as well, and the umpire will bounce it. It'll be about 15 metres from the Norwood goal. Magpies 6-4, Norwood 2-3. This is Escort Cup 86, live by courtesy of 7 Sport. Fantastic action here. Arlen Kennedy tries to go through. The umpire, it was Fiarchi. The umpire is going to come in again and bounce it. You can see that young Greg Thomas is on the ground, and he'll certainly add a bit of bite around the packs. I think we've said it before that Nord are upset by the hard body on the ball in Port Adelaide, and they just can't overcome that. So the third bounce in a row, just into the third quarter here at Football Park. Port Adelaide leading 6-4 to Norwood 2-3.
A bounce down out in front of goal. Smith comes over the top, gets the tap down. Lachlan under pressure by McClifford. Sockers the ball clear to the outer side. Rowan Smith there. Greg Boyd finishes up with the ball, but he goes to ground, loses that. Finally, Curtis gets it out. Rowan Smith again. Port Adelaide through the other Smith this time to the half-forward line. Will go Arlen Kennedy. No, it's Fiarchi. He goes over the centre line, looking to set up the short pass. A Port Adelaide player down behind play. Hall can't tap it clear. Tanner getting back in defence for the legs. The umpire has seen a free kick. It's going the way of Tanner, and he'll relieve the situation for the legs up towards Thomas. Set him up somewhat. Over the top came Anderson. Thomas under plenty of pressure at the moment. The umpire can't separate them and will come in and bounce. The attacking corner of the square, the legs in attack, and down by 25 points. Baker against Hall. The bodies go in. Once again, players can't get it clear. Finally, it comes out now. Here's a chance for them to go into attack. Up towards full forward. Open goal. Harrison. Easy goal. Lay down in his air. Could not miss. Port Adelaide 6-4. The 8-3.
Roping a deal on a colt has never been easier. In fact, it's easier than falling off a horse. Well, you can rope a deal on a Mitsubishi Colt sedan with large luggage space and split rear seats for extra big loads, or a hatch with huge interior from a tiny $8,990. At that price, who needs a horse? Mitsubishi Colt, from the car maker of the year. Again.
46 plays 15. Port Adelaide marching on in this third quarter. They've booted 2 already, and into attack they go again. Clifford, important player, back in the Port Adelaide side. Wasn't with them last year. Knight. Forward go Port Adelaide, deep into the pocket. Fiacci. Cross comes Michael Taylor and takes the ball out of play. Fiacci looking to get on. Umpire Schramm wouldn't allow that. And this has been a top performance by Port Adelaide here tonight. Full of fierceness, full of endeavour, full of enthusiasm, and they've got the score on the board at the moment. An infringement there as the ball is thrown in. It's going Port Adelaide's way. It's against John Hall. He's not happy with it, but David Baker certainly is. So Port Adelaide into attack again. Baker's about 60 metres out, and he should put it right to the square. Harrison on the lead. Baker ignores that and goes for distance. Baum went one-handed, taken by Harrison, beats a goal. He's got it! What a great goal! His second, the Port Adelaide's 8, and that's a magnificent shot for goal by Phil Harrison.
Oh, was it ever. He is a goal kicker. There's no doubt about it. He's an opportunist, Phil Harrison. And if you let him lurk around the goal square and you don't keep a watch on him, he'll do just this. He knows where they are. Hooked that beautifully around the corner. Recruited from Geelong, I think it was, in Melbourne, in and through North Adelaide, finally to Port Adelaide, and he can certainly kick goals.
Peter, I think last year we saw him kick 6-1 match from centre wing. Loves kicking goals. Norwood under pressure now. Hall, Thomas. Thomas goes down in a heap. The umpire said a push in the back, and the free kick goes to the Norwood player, just the attack side of the centre line. Thomas will boot in long to the lead of Michael Annie. He's behind the pack, comes in over the top. Lachlan couldn't. Michael Annie can, got nowhere to go. Well tackled again. Too slow, said the umpire. And the free kick once again goes to the quick tackling Port Adelaide. Port Adelaide allowed to play on, or isn't he? No, he's going to bring the ball back. Marnie shot clear with the ball, but I think you'll probably find it's Phelps, or is it Marnie who's going to take the free kick? It's going to be Wayne Marnie from centre half back. Marnie uncertain where to go. Gee, he wasn't early when he was bolting off with the ball. Now he puts it high back towards centre field for Harvey. He can't bring it out. Vardaniger in. So too is Thomas. Winds out with a cherry. Gives a chance to Hall in turn. Now Payne on the half forward line. Now that was Thomas. Greg Thomas goes up towards full forward, and a free kick will go the way of the legs. Michael Annie a chance now from 30 metres out. Well, Big Jim had a chance in the first quarter from a similar position, but didn't follow through with a kick, stabbed at the ball. Let's have a look at the free kick. Wearing a bit close and into the ground. The umpire adjudicated in the back. It'd be David Harvey. Michael Annie's third kick. Let's see if he follows through better this time. That's a better kick at the footy, but I don't think the result's any better. And he's dragged it offline for a point. Norwood can't take a trick at the moment. 2-4 to Port Adelaide's 8-4.
Well, Neil Baum certainly disappointed with Big Jim's performance tonight. Can't find the big white sticks. 2-4, 8-4, all Port Adelaide. And Baum has his worries at the moment. Kick in goes to the outer side. In front Baker, Vardaniger from behind. Needs support. Darren Smith in pursuit. Here's a chance for Stewart. Clever work by Payne. Keith Thomas, steady, cool under pressure, chips in short. This time finds Michael Annie. And yet again, another chance for Jim to shoot for goal. He hasn't registered one to date. He's been offline on about 4 occasions. There's the mark. A little chip in from Thomas. Just gained that metre on David Harvey, and now has another opportunity. Michael Annie from 50 metres. Kicks high and again is offline, so he certainly hasn't got his kicking boot on. That's his 4th point, and Norwood now 2-5, trailing Port Adelaide 8-4.
Just can't find the centre. David Harvey is the Port Adelaide fullback, and he's played quite a bit of seconds football. He may have his chance this year for a full season. Lawson. Dwayne Stewart in hot pursuit. Lawson brings it back to Marnie. The Port Adelaide confidence is up. Lawson runs through again. Over it goes to John Harvey. And they're running right, Port Adelaide. The roles are reversed. Centre half forward now the Magpies. Sees Murdoch pick up and kick back. Vardanning is running the wrong way, and he came in high on the Port Adelaide player there. Russell Boyd it was that he ran into. Russell has his say. Russell Boyd, I think, has got the free kick.
Dad's looking on anxiously.
Yes. Harvey it was. Punch over the top. Chance. Andrew Aish. Curtis did it beautifully. Run down was Fiarchi. Warhurst. Big John Hall, the lumbering giant, puts it up high. Lachlan's in front. 2 grabs. That's a good mark. Not paying. Bardaniga. Groveling. Umpire Schramm. The bearded Schramm will bounce the ball. Port Adelaide 8-4, Norwood 2-5. Greg Thomas certainly got plenty of pace. Gee, I tell you what, Payne caught one then, right in the snozzle. He's not too delighted about it either. Dwayne Stewart, Dickinson. Oh, they're fumbling Norwood. They're a little bit worried about the body on the ball. Great work there. Gee, it's Kelly. He's gone up forward. Slams away at goal, but he misses as well. Norwood at 2-6, Port Adelaide 8-4, and what can the coach do?
Well, he can't make them kick straight from where he is, Peter, and that's what's costing them dearly at the moment. They've missed what I consider 4 easy shots in this quarter, and when they're struggling like they are against a very swift tackling Port Adelaide, they've got real problems. Port Adelaide playing well as Anderson gets it up towards Smith on the outer side. Quickly working hard for the ball there is Hines. He's well out from full forward. I would think he's been moved from that spot. Harrison back there at the moment. Dwayne Stewart through. He's picked up the ball a fair bit. He's lost possession of it. Now the umpire said a high tackle, and so it's going to be Dwayne Stewart to boot the legs into attack. You're watching 7 Sport live in Escort Cup 86 from Football Park, but it's Port Adelaide who clear through Phillips. Curtis, half back line, puts out a pass looking for Smith, getting back on it is Murdoch as well, and I think you'll find that the free kick or the mark or both, it's Kelly in fact, and I think you'll find that he paid the mark. Kelly from half back flank shoots towards Dickinson, centre. Well done, Phelps. The big fellow wanders through. Kick number 6. Kicks it long up towards full forward. Coming across and taking a fine defensive mark is Craig Barr.
Big man at fullback. Has the height advantage over Anderson, but not the speed. Kick number 8 to the outer side. Will pull the ground. Free kick. Will go Port Adelaide's way, and that's the beauty of playing in front. Port Adelaide now the chance to go into attack. It's Russell Boyd. Harrison from behind flew high. Taylor went in strongly for Port Adelaide. Fiarchi over the top of him, but umpire thought elects to bounce. Good crowd in tonight. Over 15,000, Peter Marker told you, and that is a pretty accurate assessment of what's here tonight. At the bounce, Fiarchi shoots in towards goal. Harrison and Baum. A little nudge from Harrison, but Baum equal to the task and pushes it through for a rush point. 2-7 then, 2-6 rather, Norwood. Trail Port Adelaide 8-5. We've been playing for almost 12 minutes in this third quarter.
I haven't personally counted those people here tonight, David, but be around about the mark, I would say. There's a high tackle. The umpire saw it. And a free kick to go Port Adelaide's way. Alan Kennedy is the recipient. He's got a bit of an ankle with it. His 10th kick. A change for Port. Ben Harris replaces David Baker. Bomber Clifford goes short. Whoa! Whose was it? Fiarchi was looking at Boyd. Boyd was looking at Fiarchi, and the ball went straight between the two of them. Winter, Taylor, David Payne. A clever player. The handball a bit swift to Tanner. He puts a torpedo putt way down towards Lachlan. He got very low to it. The umpire has paid it. He's paid the mark. Peter Lachlan will take the kick from a 45-degree angle, about 30 metres out. It's a fair decision. Just. 8-5 Port Adelaide, Norwood 2-6. Depends whether you barrack for Norwood or Port, I guess, whether it was a fair decision or not. Lachlan. Line lines it up. Oh, he's offline too. They cannot take a trick, Norwood. Port Adelaide are running them ragged with some fast, fierce football, and their tackling has been superb. Port Adelaide are 8-5, Norwood 2-7.
I agree, Peter, but Norwood have now missed 5 set shots in this quarter, and it's certainly not Port Adelaide who's causing them to miss those. Smith led, but Harvey's going to the outer side, looking up there towards Harris. Hind, quickly Andrew Aish, Anderson, Dwayne Stewart, half-forward line, gets the kick away, and I think they've missed again. Just offline. Norwood peppering the goals now, but can't get any result on the board.
No, you're right, Ian. They have had all the play in the last 10 minutes, but only points coming. Kick comes grandstand side. Andrew Aish, looking very much like his brother. Gets it back to Hind, kicks around the corner. Here's a chance for Anderson. Richard Anderson, recruited from Port Perry, blazes in towards goal, puts it up high, gives everybody a chance, and that makes it very easy for the Port Adelaide defence. And it was David Harvey who came across and pushed it out of play. So 14 minutes gone. You're watching Escort Cup 86 on the 7 Sport, and Port Adelaide 8-5 lead Norwood 2-8. Top performance by the Magpies. Stewart tries to run the gauntlet. Here's a chance. Greg Thomas fires in towards goal. Lachlan in front, has it punched away, paying the crumbs. Oh, great smother. Thomas loses it. Players stack up, and again the Port Adelaide defence holds strong, and they're playing top football, Peter Marker.
You did right, and that was the Bomber Clifford smother. It was absolutely brilliant. The Port Adelaide bench, Baker is there, and he's done a fine job in ruck. 15 and a half minutes now into this third quarter. Port Adelaide would appear to have Norwood's measure, although Ian Day's comment that Norwood had kicked 5 consecutive points this quarter is valid. Valid particularly in the sense that they've been relatively easy shots. So they have themselves to blame somewhat for the position they're in. Harris, Anderson, tapped beautifully to Rowan Smith. Hines is under the ball out there, and that's a fine mark. Not a bad player, young David Hines. Went to play on initially, then saw Anderson running. Rowan Smith, he's a fine player. The handball back, not the best to Harrison, but back it comes to Rowan Smith. Beautifully done. Rowan Smith goes off with his 9th kick, puts it right up into the square, but it's across the face of goal, and it rolls across, and it's out in the right forward pocket. No doubt about Port Adelaide. There's not only desperation in this game from Port Adelaide, there's some know-how out there too. They're tactically, they're doing it well. They're running the ball forward. They're using their strong points very well indeed. Taylor, 2 grabs. Arvin Kennedy, no mark. Anderson tears away from the pack, runs through, half forward, sets it up, puts it through. 2 goals to Anderson. Port Adelaide now 9-5, leading Norwood 2-8.
Port Adelaide by 39 points. Hines gets it towards Michael Annie, being brought on to the ball. Quickly Tanner got it from Andrew Aish, but the kick away is not good, and Curtis takes the defensive mark. Port Adelaide in control, superior skills at this stage of the season, and they're certainly bustling Norwood off the ball. Harvey lets Knight take the ball, hooks to the half-forward line. Coming across in defence is Big Neil Hine. Hine from the defensive corner of the square comes across ground. It should be a safe avenue for Norwood if the ball sits nicely. Thomas puts out the pass to the lead of Lachlan, coming to meet it from full forward, but once again he's hustled and bustled, loses control of the ball. Well done there by Kim Kinnear, and the ball is out of play on the half-forward left flank. 9-5 to 2-8. Norwood in attack, desperately needing goals. Harris in front, Thomas swallowed by 3 Port Adelaide players. They've got numbers at the drop of the ball at the moment, and when they haven't, Port Adelaide certainly tackle Norwood fiercely. They can't get any smoothness through their half-forward line at all. Marnie, Kinnear pushed off balance, and he's going to get the free kick. We've got it on again. Here we go. Marnie in there, Dwayne Stewart Kennedy, Kim Kinnear. Kimmy loves a scrap. The umpire's quickly on the scene on this occasion. You might recall the Donnybrook in the second quarter.
Yeah, really, that was a bit stupid. Not much happening between Marnie and David Payne, but then other players on the scene. And I'm afraid that causes most of the conflict out there. Kinnear's short kick finds Clifford. This will be his 13th kick. Making position for him. The drop mark was Jeffrey Phelps. Been pretty impressed with his performance tonight, rather. Big, strong man. He'd be a great acquisition to Port Adelaide. So will Bomber Clifford, of course, back into the Port Adelaide side. He really means a lot to Port Adelaide. Throw in. Jarvis kicks forward. Chance for Vardeniga. Gets an awkward bounce. Harris. Now Kinnear. Under extreme pressure. Michael Taylor threads his way through. Now drives to half forward. At the back was Clifford. Oh, Curtis at the second attempt. That's a fine mark. Over the top he goes. Phelps the opportunity. Brilliant tackle. Loses it. Chance now for the legs. Lachlan does good work. Gets it out. Michael Annie in heaps of trouble. Appealing for the free kick and being paid. Neil Barnes not happy. But the free kick has gone the way of Jeffrey Phelps.
Phelps plays it on. Early mark taken out there by Dale Lorby, who's on the ground, obviously. He's got the ball again. In fact, that's Kinnear. Port Adelaide 9-5, Norwood 2-8. We're on centre wing. The tallest hands there belong to Craig Kelly. Couldn't take the mark. Over the line, and we'll see a throw in centre wing. In fact, just the attack side for Port Adelaide. Well, Norwood appear underdone, but perhaps Port Adelaide have made them look like that. They've made them look second rate to this point, in fact. Neil Hine put the hand on the ball, but it didn't do much. The ball thrown out. Now Anderson. That's the Norwood Anderson. Craig Kelly again. Hooks around the body. Good mark. Good body positioning there. Vardeniga. He went every way which way, then doubled back. Did it beautifully. Thomas is in the pocket. Got the kick away. Under the ball, Murdoch. He's got it back again. Onto the left boot. He's under pressure. David Harvey, as cool as you like, puts it out in front. The Port Adelaide defenders run it out. Here's a go now for Arlen Kennedy. Marnie gets in the way of Anderson. Kennedy goes short. Where's it going to land? Port Adelaide running right. Stephen Knight's got it. And he's at right half forward flank. And the Port fans are delirious. They're loving every second of this. Stephen Knight goes to centre half forward. David Hines is there. In fact, it's Russell Boyd. And he marks at centre half forward. Well, if you're a Norwood fan, you'd really want to go home now, to be quite honest. Port Adelaide are playing superb football. It's important for South Australia that they do. Craig Kelly, Rowan Smith, Keith Thomas, Rowan Smith again, kick smothered. But can the Redlegs come back? They're a lot better than they've shown so far. Never give them up. Come back they do. That's a holding the ball decision in favour of Michael Taylor, and he'll take it at the true centre half-back spot.
Got Greg Thomas on the lead on the outer side. He's got plenty of pace. Fires the ball wide. Andrews coming across. 1-2 grabs, can't complete it, and the ball out of play. 9-5 to 2-8 as we approach full time in the third quarter. 23 minutes gone. We have got full time plus 2 minutes of time on. And there is time on in the third and final quarters. Mike Lanny gets the tap away towards Thomas. Tanner there as well. Caught on the left leg. Norwood can't find a winner across that half-forward line at all as Smith comes to meet the ball. Lose it. Kennedy to Curtis is good play. Now Russell Boyd against the tide. Lose it. Anderson. Norwood with a chance here. Dwayne Stewart will need support. He's got a running player here in Lachlan. Changes tack. Puts out a pass. And he's found at centre half-forward. Murdoch into the open goal. I think the legs have got one. Well, ironical cheer from the legs fans. And it's taken a defender to come upfield to boot their third goal. 3-8 the legs, 9-5 Port Adelaide.
Yeah, so it was good teamwork from Norwood that brought in this goal. after a series of points. Dickinson telling Murdoch to go all the way. He did. And finally, as Ian told you, Norwood have booted a goal. But they're 3-8. They trail Port 9-5. The difference is 33 points. The big question to be asked is, can they now mount up and go home and get back at this strong Port Adelaide side, who really have been on top here all night?
Well, I don't think there's much doubt that they're capable of it, David. Big Neil Hine there is the tallest man on the ground, and he's opposed to Ben Harris. It's 11 scoring shots Norwood, 14 Port Adelaide. The difference is 5-3. A quick goal or two before the three-quarter time break would be helpful for Norwood. Over the top it goes, clearing away though is David Harvey. Anderson for Port Adelaide, Tanner for Norwood. The Norwood wingman is tackled superbly by Anderson. Oh, that was really a great tackle, holding the ball. And Greg Anderson with the free kick. Player hurt, maybe Dwayne Stewart. This is Anderson's 9th kick for Port Adelaide. He goes long, but the siren has gone to end yet another good quarter of football for the Magpies. They really have played well. A dejected Neil Baum there, he wouldn't be too delighted. And he'll have plenty to say to Norwood at the break. So at the three-quarter time break, Port Adelaide 9-5, lead Norwood 3-8. It's three-quarter time. Port Adelaide 9-5, Norwood 3-8. And that wonderful flying machine takes some tremendous shots at Football Park. And it really is a delightful sight at night. This game really is an important one for Port Adelaide, David, isn't it? Because with the flack that they've had right through the summer, everybody's saying the club's in financial strife, which it is, as most clubs are. The first time they run onto the field, they had to play well, didn't they?
Yes, after such a bad season last year, and as you said, with all the turmoil at Port Adelaide, all the things that have been going on, it really was important. Now the players have answered. They've answered and done a marvellous job, I believe, tonight. The attack, I was just looking down the list trying to pick out a best player for Port Adelaide, and in fact, it's been such a concerted team effort tonight that there's not one player that stands out amongst them. Perhaps Greg Anderson, I thought his performance has been pretty good, perhaps a little bit better than the others, but overall it's been a magnificent team effort by the 18, the 22 that have been on the ground.
David, I think it's good that some of the younger and the newer players are showing up. Phelps at centre-half back, David Hines. But also, I think we must be impressed with the physique of young Anderson, Peter. You mentioned it during your call, and he's bulked up tremendously.
It first came under the public eye in the Football Olympics, where it was noted that perhaps he'd lost a bit of his pace, and someone out there said that he was about 6'3.5" and that he'd put muscle on. He's certainly done all that. But he probably has got the physique now to step up a position.
Be a more direct player, do you think?
Yes, and perhaps come away from the wing and be a centre-half forward.
Well, I think he's got it. With the loss of Bradley and out of the centre, perhaps the experiment of playing Russell in the centre tonight, I don't believe will work. I think Russell basically is a centre-half forward. I think they need his strength and his body weight and his ability to hold the ball in the area at centre-half forward, and I think that leaves the way clear for Anderson to play centre and play it well. Just interestingly, Peter, his stats tonight, 9, 2 and 5, and he's kicked 2-1, so he's been a pretty good performer, hasn't he?
I think the Port Adelaide Rovers have done well. Fiacci and Alan Kennedy, I think they've outrode the Norwood counterparts.
And Marnie.
Yeah, and Marnie. Marnie's added a little bit of fire to the packs. But the other point that I think we ought to make is the fact that Norwood are hopeless at the moment, but had they kicked 4 of those 5 set shots that they missed within easy distance, they may have been back in the game. In fact, they would have been back in the game, but at the moment, things look a little hopeless. 2 goals to Phil Harrison in that quarter, Peter. I thought, he just created that little bit of opportunity. It got in the space. One was a marvellous goal, but his performance good, and Port Adelaide really have looked in great touch tonight. Yeah, he really is fantastic, Phil Harrison. We mentioned it before. He's an opportunist, and you need them in your side. And if you look at North Adelaide, they probably missed one last year, and Michael Poynton, the opportunist. Having a look at the stats, I suppose that the they look pretty even.
The obvious thing to come out of it is, they're even.
They're even. It just shows that Port Adelaide are using the ball a lot better.
We spoke about Dwayne Russell, and there he is coming off the ground on crutches. That's not a good sight for Port Adelaide fans. Port Adelaide fans certainly would be thrilled with the performance here tonight, but not that side as he leaves the ground. A great thing, though, David, is that he's had no influence on the game at all, and yet Port Adelaide have been able to maintain this very high standard right from the first go. What about Norwood then, Ian?
Well, we're disappointed. I would think Norwood fans would be disappointed too, because their skills are at a low level. Now, is it because at the moment, is it because of Port Adelaide's fierce tackling? As Peter said earlier, their direct approach at the ball, is it worrying Norwood? But, you know, Norwood certainly aren't a scared side, but as they're fumbling the ball when they get under pressure.
I think we don't give credit often enough for the ability of sides to put pressure on other sides, and I think that's exactly what's happened here tonight. The ability of Port Adelaide to keep the pressure, the constant pressure at Norwood, has just not given them the ability to use their ball handling skills.
Yes, you did right. Plenty of sport coming your way on Channel 7 on the weekend. The Masters Golf live from Huntingdale. The tradition continues. 11:30 a.m. tomorrow morning, 7:30 p.m. tomorrow evening. Round 1 continues of the Escort Cup. Sturt against Woodville, Central District against Torrens. We're about to pick up the beginning of the last quarter now of Escort Cup game here. Norwood against Port Adelaide. Your commentator is Ian Day.
Port Adelaide 9-5, Norwood 3-8. Can the legs come back? At the moment, it looks like Port Adelaide for all money, but Dwayne Stewart, who's played pretty well, puts the legs into attack, only to be repelled once again by Curtis. Curtis goes out wide to the lead out there of Clifford. Also out there with him is Kennedy Anderson for Norwood. Plays the ball cleverly to keep it in play. Dummies into trouble, gets out of it nicely, and now fires the legs right up towards full forward. Coming across is Harvey, thump clear and through the goal line, and the ball will be, yes, it's a point to Norwood, and they move on now to 3-9 to Port Adelaide's 9-5.
Pretty cool customer, young Richard Anderson. I thought Alan Kennedy had the better of him in the first quarter, but to his credit, he's fought back strongly, and he at worst would be equal at centre wing. Keith Thomas, talented player, Thomas, using those skills, taps it out to Ace. Ace flanked by Anderson on this occasion, uses the left foot, puts it in towards the square. So Port Adelaide, however, back there, and they're able to clear easily. And that, I'm afraid, is where Norwood have fallen down in front of goals. They've had numerous opportunities to score. They've had ample opportunities. The ball's been down there a lot, but unfortunately for them, they just have not been able to convert tonight. 3-9 Norwood, trial Port 9-5. Chance for Anderson as he boots off the ground. Stephen Knight, being a pretty good player, swoops on the ball and cleverly gets out of trouble, and he'll find Rowan Smith at left half forward.
You're watching Escort Cup 86 live on 7 Sport as Rowan Smith, with his 10th kick, finds Bomber Clifford between centre and centre half forward. Bomber is lining up for his 14th disposal by foot. Goes short to Marnie. He's spoiled. Well, the ball is spoiled away there by Kelly. Not a good effort there by Bomber. It comes back now to Anderson. Oh, he hardly took a pace then, and he's put it 50 metres, and he nearly kicked a goal. It went over the top of John Hall and scored a point as Dwayne Stewart hobbles off the field, and he's replaced by Lachlan.
Anderson looking really good. Oh, bad news for Dwayne Stewart. Anderson looking very strong. Barnes kick in, looking for Kelly. Tanner, who's picked up quite a few kicks, to Thomas. Back to Tanner in the 1-2. Oh, the handball is not good. That's the skill level I was talking about. Jarvis on the field, gets it across to Thomas. Thomas has a player clear centre field. Dickinson uses his pace to break clear, drives in towards full forward. Harvey looking for the ball. With him there is Des O'Dwyer, gets the handball out. Snapshot at goal. Payne, I think it's home. Let's have a look at it. It's Vardaniga, not Payne, but Norwood needed it. It's Vardaniga's first. 4-9 the legs, 9-6 Port Adelaide.
Well, that was a much better build-up by Norwood. Vardaniga capped it off. It looked for a moment though Dwyer was going to mark that, but again the Port Adelaide defence got in quickly. But a good shot that from Glenn Vardaniga. His first kick, it's a goal. Port Adelaide 9-6, Norwood 4-9. We've played for 3 minutes of the final quarter.
Dwayne Stewart getting some attention there, and that was really a great handball from Des O'Dwyer. Can Norwood come back? Port Adelaide into attack yet again. Marnie gets in front. Yes, he's been paid the mark. It's great to see this little player back in action. He appears to have picked up that yard that he lost. We hope for Port Adelaide's sake that he has, because he was a fine player 2 years back. That's got to be holding the ball, and the umpire agrees. Russell Ebert, I don't think, was too wrapped in that performance by his player. Norwood will come out of defence. Big pack of players. G3 Port Adelaide players up. Tanner got the crumbs. Vardaniga tries to smother it. Kinnear it is. boot to ball very quickly. Hines, Kinnear. Port Adelaide player is outnumbered there. Russell Boyd. Marnie again. Port Adelaide not giving up. Phil Harrison's up there in the square, but it's Craig Baum from behind with too much height and strength who holds sway. His ninth kick. Good mark. Dickinson plays it on. Anderson's got pace. Away goes Keith Thomas. A chance now for Des O'Dwyer. Way out in front of David Harvey there. Harvey got rid of him. He walked all over him. Pushing the back, says the umpire, and Des O'Dwyer with the free kick. Can Norwood score again? If they do, they're back in business. 15 metres. Gee, that could be handy. Des O'Dwyer burst onto the scene last year with a vengeance. He kicked 10 goals in his first outing. He got 4 the following week, but then he faded away a bit. O'Dwyer goes long. He goes straight. He's kicked a goal. Norwood get a bit closer with O'Dwyer's first goal. 5-9, trailing Port Adelaide 9-6.
You know, buying a new car can be a very confusing time. Which car, which company? But at Graham Corns Mitsubishi, 2 factors make it easy for you. Firstly, the great range of new Mitsubishi cars that we can offer to you at a lower price than any other dealer. Secondly, and most importantly, we understand the needs of the new car buyer and give you all the time and assistance to make the right decision. Now, it's easy to stand here and say it. All I ask is you put us to the test. You won't be disappointed.
The leg's starting to come home, but a bad mistake. A short pass that went astray after a free. Let Port Adelaide in again, and they take the ball up to the forward pocket where it goes out of play. An underground pass that went out towards centre wing was intercepted, and Baum would not be happy about that. They've got a 21-point deficit, 6 minutes into the final quarter. Hall against Hines. Winter back in defence. Marnie there with him. Michael Taylor. Warhurst, nowhere to go, close to the line. Hines again, whips out the handball. Rowan Smith hooks in towards goal. Players fly for it, thumped away from Baum. Here's a chance. Hines socket off the ground, just the wrong side of the woodwork, and Port Adelaide register another point. 9-7 the Magpies, 5-9 the Legs.
Russell Evert flanked by Davey Boyd and former South Adelaide footballer Jeff Baines, who's now taken up an official position at Port Adelaide. Dickinson got it from Lachlan. The lead is good from Thomas. Norwood finally getting a bit of system in their play, a bit of method as they go forward, looking for O'Dwyer. Curtis strong in defence. And again, Port Adelaide get clear. Phelps it is who goes short. Andrew Ace almost took the mark. Tanner left it behind. Rowan Smith does it. Phelps it is who butters up again, drives them back towards centre half forward. But Michael Taylor, the ever reliable Michael Taylor, takes the mark. Kick number 11 finds John Hall. Kelly does some shepherding, and rather crude shepherding behind the play. Almost keeping it in play was Michael Annie. In fact, he has. He and Smith battle on the ground. And umpire Thorpe decides on a bounce. So Port Adelaide lead by 22 points. We've been playing for just over 7 minutes in this final quarter. Bounce again, ball pushed out of play. Norwood for the moment struggling against this ferociousness of the Port Adelaide tackling, and very, very infrequently getting any method into their play. Chance for Anderson, probably been the pick of the Port Adelaide players. All under extreme pressure there, caught one high. He'll take the free, and she's on again, but umpire Thorpe quickly in on the spot will separate the players. So 22 points, and as we see Anderson copping that one high, there's the tackle, that's the crude one, and that's the one that earned him the free kick. Kick number 12 it is for Greg Anderson. The Rex play along grandstand side. Chance for Norwood. Trying to keep the ball in play was Wayne Tanner, but can't. Michael Taylor's on the scene, and there'll be a throw-in in front of the Channel 7 cameras.
The Redlegs are coming back at Port Adelaide. The Magpies 9-7, lead Norwood 5-9. Can they make a game of it? Winter, Craig Kelly went back to Taylor, but he couldn't get boot to ball. Ben Harris does. Over the top, Phil Harrison. Knight's the running player. He puts it on the way. It's coming back, but not far enough. Only the point. Oh, was very well set up. Perhaps a lucky bounce initially, but Port Adelaide, when they run forward, they do it with method. They're 9-8, Norwood are 5-9. And Ian Day, what's your bet? Can the Redlegs make a game of it?
Well, Peter, they're certainly moving the ball more freely in this quarter. I don't know whether they've picked up or Port Adelaide have just dropped their pace a little bit. But a 23-point deficit with about 14 minutes to go is still a big leeway to make up. But football's a funny game. You get on top, you can get 5 in 5 minutes. And certainly Norwood are not about to give up. But Ben Harris with the ball as Boyd can't take the kick. Harris puts it up. Hall comes in to take the defensive mark. Two of them botch it between them. Baum under pressure from Harrison. Hine in there. Lachlan getting back on the ball for the legs. And he pats the ball out of play. Boyd still getting treatment. Russell concentrating elsewhere at the moment. He's got a game to win, a very important game. As Peter told you, it's important that Port Adelaide start well. Harrison around the corner. Fine mark in defence taken there by Michael Taylor. Kingo Taylor trying to get a bit of room to move there as he'll boot number 12 kick out of defence. Looking for someone to kick to. Finally, he goes towards centre wing, out in front, and well taken there by Roger Murdoch. Murdoch at centre half back. Lachlan. Norwood ease the ball out of defence towards centre field. Coming across and thumping the ball clear as Phelps. He's got charge of the ball. He'll probably let the quicker Anderson get there first. Beautiful control of the ball as he fires it towards the half-forward line. Knight and/or Boyd is back on his feet, and Boyd will send them into attack.
From left half forward, the kick is very high. Taylor it was that got fist to it. Marnie went through, couldn't take it, and now the umpire has picked the free kick. It's going Norwood's way. Indiscriminate kick, and John Hall takes the free. Vardeniga's loose. Now here's a chance for Norwood to build up. See what they can do. Towards half forward, looking for Michael Annie. Flies from behind. Anderson, great skills. Clifford played well tonight. Hall has front position. Taken off hands by Warhurst, or bad handball, puts Lachlan under pressure, and that bad handball really set him up. Harrison was on the scene, grabbed him quickly, and he's got the free at centre half forward. Kick number 5 to Harrison. It's a long, low, raking kick into the square. Off hands, Taylor at the back. Clear comes Kingo Taylor. Kick number 13. In fact, it wasn't a kick, it was a handball. Finally lands in the hands of Vardeniga. Has the luxury of a bounce. Now drives towards centre half forward. Curtis, strong. Nowhere to go. Pushed out of play. And umpire Thorpe says throw it in.
The Magpies 9-8, Norwood 5-9. You're watching Escort Cup 86 by courtesy of 7 Sport. And there's some delighted fans here tonight, particularly the Magpie fans. They're loving it, but they're under a bit of pressure at the moment as Craig Kelly is tackled. Phelps gets the kick away. No mark as Kingo Taylor goes back. Gets into a free space. Arlen, no, it was John Harvey that came in late. Dickinson's played well for Norwood. He had to get rid of it. The bomber goes short. Misplaces that ball. It comes back towards John Hall. He's in slow motion at the moment as Tanner puts one over the top. I think he was aiming for the trainer then. Greg Thomas, Will of the Wisp. Away he goes. O'Dwyer running into the open space. So is David Payne, but O'Dwyer gets there first. The handball back, not the best. Holding the ball. That's probably the interpretation of that perfect tackle. Quick as you like, Anderson's got the free kick. Puts it up into the pocket. Payne, O'Dwyer, take your pick. Norwood are just chipping away very quietly. It's 4 marks to David Payne. The kick away put Thomas in trouble, but he's going to get a free kick for holding on. A little bit lucky. Keith Thomas, one of the great Norwood players over the last few years. He's had a pretty quiet evening. Only 7 kicks. He's taken 6 marks. Sets it up. Oh, and he's hit the post. Lady Luck has deserted Norwood at the time they needed her most. 5-10 the legs. Port Adelaide 9-8.
Harvey to kick the ball in. Norwood once again upset by the poor kicking for goal. Boyd, half back line. Anderson, I think he's probably playing centre after starting at centre half forward, but yeah, he's been a star. Drives long up towards full forward. Thumped clear by Harrison in the end. Bomber Clifford took it off the pack. Shoots one in towards goal. It bounced 3 different directions, but not back through the goal. And he nudges another point for Port Adelaide. It's their 9th, 9-9 to 5-10.
Gee, just how much does that man mean to Port Adelaide, Bomber Clifford? Neil Barham would love to have him in his side. The kick in to the outer side. Here he is again. Kicking around the corner. Warhurst does good work. Knight gets clear. Caught. It's the support, but the umpire's whistle has gone. Play's coming back. The mark paid. It's Port Adelaide's Ben Harris out there in the left forward pocket who's been given it. It's not Ben Harris at all. It's David Hines. He's about 35 metres from goal. Hines across the face. Hine couldn't mark it. Stack on, and there'll be a bounce up.
Does anyone wear contact lenses in the Norwood side? I reckon they're looking for a contact lens down there, like looking for a needle in a haystack.
Might be looking for gold by the look of it. Pretty keen about the whole thing. Neil Hine up, gets the tap away. King O'Taylor can't pick it up. Marnie appeared to cop one high, or perhaps he made it look as though he did. That is a Magpie fan.
Don't believe you.
I should have said she is a Magpie fan. Norwood to half back. Coming through now is Ben Harris. Oh, he got away beautifully then. Kim Kinnear, he'll go short to half forward. Bardaniga went up far too early. John Harvey took the mark. He's a back man come forward, and he'll have a pop shot from 55 metres. A goal here would make it difficult for Norwood. This is Harvey's 7th kick. The lead is on. Harrison's on the lead. It was a top lead too, but he couldn't quite mark the ball. Keith Thomas. Bardaniga making the open space. And Arlen Kennedy. He's an impressive player, this Anderson from Norwood. The moment you give them a rap, they let you down. Harvey. Anderson again. Following up. Lachlan holding the ball. Yes, he took far too long on that occasion, and it'll be Darren Smith to handball off. Port Adelaide into attack yet again. Oh, big mark, big leap there by Neil Hine. Fine performance. Although, Ian, I wouldn't say that Norwood have held any sway in ruck, and initially, I guess, with Hall and Hine, you think they probably would.
I agree, Peter. I think that it's probably been pretty even. If anything, the Port Adelaide pair just slightly in front. But certainly the running players of Port Adelaide have been well in front. O'Dwyer gets the handball out. Back in defence, Curtis. Talking about a running player, Anderson. Kicks long towards centre wing, putting out beautifully in front of Smith. He lost his footing when Kelly accidentally tripped him. Kelly again did it well. High tackle. Umpire says you can play on. 2 Port Adelaide players down. Taylor to Dickinson. On the lead. Clifford hurt. Is Andrew Aish. Norwood still in the act. About 6 or 7 minutes to go. 23 points down. As Aish puts it in long towards Michael Annie. Can't bring it down, but Big Jim's still in there. Over the top field. Payne tries to crash his way through. Kinnear won't let him. And the umpire will come in and bounce the ball about 25 metres out. Port Adelaide player down there. I can't see who it is. Clifford, is it? Ebert on the phone. The Bomber looking a little perplexed at the moment, struggling for air. Payne in. Lets Bardaniga shoot for goal, and that's a ripper! Oh, what a shot from the right forward pocket. Bardaniga's second. Norwood still in there fighting. The legs down 6-10 to the Magpies 9-9.
Over 15,000 people here at Football Park to witness this opening round of the Escort Cup 86. Port Adelaide leading by 17 points. We've got about 3 minutes plus time on to go in the final quarter. Can Norwood get back? They've just booted a goal. They're into attack again. Here's an opportunity. David Payne it is, threading his way through. Gets a hurry kick into the pocket. Awkward bounce down there. Chance for O'Dwyer. Needs support, or the handball went wide of Payne. Payne cleverly pushes out. Here's a chance for Michael Annie. Can he get to it? In the back. No, play on, says the umpire. And the Port Adelaide defence again stands firm. Out they come. opportunity for Norwood went begging. Knight it is who gets away. Goes short to Curtis. Clifford is on his feet and up and running. The kick from Curtis is long into the square. There he is. Oh, the bomber. Pushing the back. Well, Peter Marcus saw it. Ian Day saw it. I didn't. But thankfully for...
So did the umpire.
Norwood, the umpire did. You're right, Ian. Neil Hine comes out with it. Goes short. Looks for Dickinson and finds him in the centre of the ground.
Well, it wasn't an all too obvious free kick, that one, but nevertheless paid. Dickinson goes to half forward. Big Jim comes out, can't take the mark. Jeffrey Phelps fumbles. Tanner in there fighting very hard for the ball. And there he is, Greg Anderson, beautifully disposed. Superb kick, Anderson. Finds Clifford on the run. And the bomber's going to go back. Well, there appears to be a fairly serious sort of an injury there. Hopefully it's only the cramp. Maybe Wayne Tanner, I think. 15 kicks coming up for Bomber Clifford. In fact, I'll amend that. 19. It's cutting across. Only the point, but a good kick though, because it's kept it in Port Adelaide's forward area. Port now 9-10, Norwood 6-10. We're into time on.
Yes. Baum takes the kick in. Port by 18 points. Kelly in defence. They'll have to move it in a hurry. Whips out a long handball. The running player is Taylor. Taylor goes to the half-forward line to Michael Andy, one-handed, can't make it. Quickly through. Dwayne Stewart has recovered. Takes his 10 metres, fires towards goal, but the umpire starts to gallop. And once again, the legs of the legs a little astray, and the ball is offline for a point. Tanner has been in the trainer's hands for a long time. They went for his toes to the sign of cramp, but he's been down there for a long time. It must be a pretty severe case.
Curtis took the kick off from Harvey. Anderson after it again. Hine does well. Finally runs into trouble. Anderson doesn't. Comes out with it. Gets the handball in the direction of Russell Boyd. Tanner, 2 against 1. Boyd loses it. Chance for Thomas. Keith Thomas now sets it up for Stewart. He's just missed one a few moments ago. This one goes short. Over the top to O'Dwyer. He's going to lose it. Payne pulled to the ground. He'll take the free. Port Adelaide supporters not happy about it. But it was an obvious free kick. And David Payne has it just 15 metres out. Here it is. Payne. Keep your eye on the little fella. There's the tackle from behind, didn't have possession. And Peter Marker, as the kick goes on its way, didn't agree with me. But it didn't matter anyway because David Payne has missed it.
No, I was just wondering how obvious the free kick you thought it was, David, but certainly in camera there, there was some interference. But gee, they can't take a trick, Norwood. They threaten, and yet when they get into a good position, they muck it up with bad kicking. There's another free kick. I'm a lip reader, actually. I know what that meant. Wayne Marnie. He didn't agree with that decision, Neil Baum. A good mark out there by Craig Kelly, it appears to be. He'll play it on. I tell you what, Norwood not giving in. They're running out of time, but they're fighting right to the end. David Payne above the pack and takes a fine mark. Norwood right in this game with a goal here to David Payne. Running out of time, but getting closer. 5 marks, David Payne. No, the siren has gone. So the kick won't have any effect on the result of the game. In fact, he's kicked a point. So the final score here at Football Park is Norwood 6-13 to Port Adelaide 9-10. And certainly a great game of football here at Football Park. Well, David, I guess in a game like this, it's what you'd expect. A Norwood Port, a typical encounter. But I think Port Adelaide have surprised us all in the way they jumped the gun in 1986.
Yes, indeed, you're right, Peter. It was a tremendous performance by them. They got out of the gun well. They started well. Kicked 3-1 to Norwood's 1-3 in that first quarter. Their tackling was good. Their running players were excellent. Their endeavour was good. And there's Greg Anderson leaving the field. He was probably the pick of them. It was indeed, Ian, a tremendous performance by Port Adelaide, but take nothing away from Norwood.
Yes, I agree. Port Adelaide deserved to win, but I'd have to say again that Norwood's kicking for goal cost them the game. Even in that last quarter when they were making their bid, They had 2 or 3 shots that were relatively easy. Had they kicked them, anything might have happened. But as I said, I don't want to take away anything from Port Adelaide. Maybe their physical condition just deserted them a little towards the end because Norwood started to get clear and attack the goals. But full marks for Port Adelaide. They look as though they're in for a good season.
Yes, you're watching Escort Cup 86 live on 7 Sport. We'll have more in a moment. With the news here that Port Adelaide has been victorious, running out victors 9-10 to Norwood 6-13. The quarter-by-quarter scores there indicative of Port's supremacy right throughout the game, although there was a period in that third quarter which Ian Day repeatedly referred to where Norwood kicked inaccurately. In fact, they kicked 1-5 in that third quarter, and Ian, I agree with you, if they were going to get back into the game, that was the quarter.
Yes, Peter, had they got some of those goals, it also would have given them greater confidence. But I keep on emphasising that point, but I feel by doing so I'm taking away something from Port Adelaide. But in that last quarter, they didn't attack the ball nor the Norwood players anywhere near as ferociously as they did in the first 3 quarters, and that might be due to their physical condition. But Port Adelaide, I think they more than broke even in ruck. They had 2 star players in Clifford and Anderson, and that was something that Norwood couldn't match.
I'm wondering, David, do you think that there were really some pretty good signs for Norwood tonight? Because I reckon they're a bit underdone fitness-wise, that's number one, and secondly, they've got a few top-line players out.
Indeed they have, Peter, you're right. And the other thing about it is I think their last quarter performance, I think they ran on pretty well in the last quarter. Normally sides that are under that amount of pressure tend to give it away, and the other side pulls clear in that last quarter, but to their undying credit, they kept at it and at it and at it, and I think that's a great sign. And with those other players to come back, players like Michael Aish, magnificent playmakers, then I think Neil Barn wouldn't be all that disappointed.
I think he'd be delighted. We might have a look at some stats of the game because, interestingly enough, I think what will come out of it is the kicks. I'm not sure whether that's right. I think that may be just slightly wrong, because at 3/4 time they were much more even than that. But the point we made before was that the stats
Peter,
were pretty even.
I've actually got them here. The final kicks were from the actual sheets themselves were 160 to Port Adelaide and 157 to Norwood. So right. That's just a wrong figure there on the top.
Statistically, there wasn't a lot in it. I think it was the endeavour of Port Adelaide and perhaps the way they finished things off. As Ian was saying before, Norwood had tremendous opportunities the third quarter, even early in the last quarter, to kick goals, and they just couldn't finish their work off, and that was their downfall.
Is that the sort of football that a side can maintain? I'm talking about Port Adelaide. For a period of some 30 weeks, that desperation, dive on the ball type football?
Well, it's traditional Port Adelaide, isn't it? I think they've been doing it for a number of years, and I think they can. I think there'll be a strong feeling in the Port Adelaide club this year. We spoke about the problems that they've had before, and I think Port Adelaide don't stay down for long. They were down last year. I don't think they'll be down in 86.
Talking about someone who is very much Port Adelaide, Robert 80's got Stephen Clifford.
Kimmy Kinnear played really well.
Well, Stephen, well done.
Thanks, Robert.
Great start to the season. Port Adelaide really come out this season to show that everything is in good nick.
Well, after last year, Robert, we played very, very poorly for most of the year, and we had something to prove to ourselves, but not just ourselves, to our supporters, and we want to get our supporters back down at Alberton. There's only one way to do that, and that's to win games, and we show the spectators, and we believe in ourselves now, and now all we have to do is go on and continue winning games from here.
At the start of the game, he played Dwayne Russell at centre and Greg Anderson at centre half forward. They both obviously like playing those positions.
Well, that was Dwayne's second run into the centre, and I think he's hurt his knee, and we don't know what extent the injury is until tomorrow. And Greg played quite well at centre half forward, but when Dwayne went off, he went to the centre and played extremely well also.
Yeah, Rowan Smith and Jeff Phelps did very well also.
Yeah, Rowan's very noticeable by his bald head, of course, and Jeff's not a new recruit. We had him a couple of years ago playing in the reserves, but he's matured a lot, and there's no doubt he's going to develop into a good player at centre half back for us.
You certainly came out at the start of the game tonight firing on all fours. Is that because of the shorter quarters, or do you think that's going to be Port Adelaide forever and a day? You did die a bit at the end.
Oh yeah, I don't know if you read the papers. I said we'd come out fighting during the week, and the boys were very keyed up. We had a young team. We've got quite a few players that come back into our team, but after today's win, they've got to earn their spot, which is very, very good, and that's what we want down at Port Adelaide. But I think supporters and spectators and other teams will find that's the Port Adelaide game for this year.
Well, Ben Harris and David Baker did the rucking tonight without Russell Johnson. How's Russell?
Russell's training very well at the moment. He's not quite sure how his shoulder is at the present time. It's a little bit weak, but give Russell another 4 or 5 weeks. I'm sure he'll be that keen to get into the ruck and support Port Adelaide.
Well, it's certainly going to be a good season by the look for Port Adelaide. It's a great start. It's the way to go. go.
Well, we certainly hope so. And just before I close off, mate, I want to give me pub a plug. I bought a pub down at Port Adelaide. It's called the New Exchange. So I'd move in there on the 7th of April. So any Port supporters looking for a quiet beer down there, I'll only accommodate you as best I can.
I couldn't imagine it being too quiet. Good on you, Stephen.
Thanks very much, Robert.
Thanks, Peter.
I knew that he mentioned that pub. I reckon that's where everybody's going tonight. You can have a good time at Bombers Pub as from April 7th. Well, you're watching Escort Cup 86 live on 7. We'll be back in a moment. Ball here from Football Park to open the 1986 Escort Cup season. South Adelaide won the first game. I guess that may have been a surprise to people who watched form from last year. South 18-3, straight kicking, West Adelaide 10-14. Port Adelaide stormed home in the second game to win it, 9-10 to 6-13. Norwood always behind, but they certainly fought out right to the finish. That was also a great match. Well, there's a feast of sport this week on Channel 7, and there it is, just an indication. At 11:30 a.m. tomorrow morning, the Australian Masters Golf live from Huntingdale. The tradition continues. At 7:30 p.m, Escort Cup 86 round 1 continues. Sturt against Woodville, Central District versus West Torrens. Plenty more on Sunday. There it is, World of Sport, starting off at 9 a.m. Plenty of action right there, including Masters Golf highlights. Racetrack at 9:30 a.m, yachting from Fremantle, and that's followed by golf again, 11:30 a.m, the final day of the Australian Masters Golf, and that's really great action. At 5:30 p.m, another highlight. Escort Cup continues. Ian Day is going to venture down to Bordertown, and he'll send a special report back at 5:30 p.m, and we'll cover that live from the studio with Rick Keegan, Graham Campbell and myself. Well, it's been a great delight to bring you Escort Cup 86 this evening. We're going to bring it to you again tomorrow evening at 7:30. From the 7 Sport crew, I bid you good evening.